Go
Hope
ahead.
the Hornets Nest. This is Nick. I'm here with Leslie. We want to welcome our favorite listeners, Richard Gallardo and Christian Gardner. Welcome, fellas. Nothing to say about that. Did you go to the Measure B fundraiser?
I did not.
Neither did I. But my friend Thomas Hildebrand did, and he said it was rather nice. John Knight did the cooking.
Yep. I saw there was lots of support. I saw a lot of pictures on Facebook. So
Well, I support it 100%, but I don't think it's going to fly because I don't think you can beat the state. Everybody thinks how some people think I'm wishy-washy about it. I've just got my opinions. And how do you fight the state? I mean, they've got unlimited resources, your resources to fight you.
well, how you fight the state is you take the battle to the state. We need to have elected representatives at the state level who are representing the people. And so we need to make sure to hold our assembly people accountable and our senators accountable. And then we need to fight across the state to get bad ones out and good ones in, because every single one of those assembly members and senators at the state level makes decisions that affect us. Therefore, every single one of their votes matter. And so, even though they're out of our district, we need to do what we can to draw attention and get them out.
Or you shouldn't, sure, we shouldn't just furlough Saran and send him to Sacramento with an Uzi and thin out the coals. Anyway, I spent a day yesterday in Ashland, Oregon. It was wonderful. It was like 12 or 15 degrees cooler than Redding. Lithia Park is absolutely spectacular. If you ever get the chance, go up there. I go up every couple months because I have rheumatoid arthritis, and they get to hurting, and I get a shot of steroids called Simponi, and all my aches and pains go away, and I got my energy back, and life is good again. But I try and time it to where I've got an empty gas tank when I get up there. And I fill up with Chevron because Chevron has that Tectron in it that cleans your injectors. And a good mechanic told me one time, he says, run about every third or fourth tank of gas with that Chevron to keep your injectors cleaned out. But it's cost prohibitive down here. I got Chevron regular with Tectron for 4.65 a gallon, and then I get a 5% cash back on with my Costco card. So I basically paid about $4.30 for it. Regular gas, the cheap gas down here is right at $5.
Do they still pump your gas for you up there?
Well, they will, but you can pump your own now too. They passed some law that you can pump your own. They probably got tired of me jumping out, pumping my gas, and them coming over telling me I can't do that. And I'm telling them, yeah, I can. See this? I gotta go, dude. But Lithia Park is just absolutely spectacular, and I'm so looking forward to around Halloween when the fall colors are out. I mean, it is something special. And if you're looking for a place to go cool off on a day trip, drive up there. You can make it in 2 hours. And they've got all kinds of nice little boutiques and little boutique type cafes and that kind of stuff. It's where they have the Shakespeare plays. They don't appeal to me. Neither does the Riverfront Playhouse, a bunch of adults acting like they're somebody else. But, some people call it culture.
A lot of people like it.
Not me.
I I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't watch a lot of movies. I just don't have time for it. But you know,
But anyway, Lithia Park's about a mile and a half long. It's 200 yards wide at its widest place. It has a creek that pours right down the middle of it. And there's always little kids playing in the creek. And there's lots of benches and there's big trees. And it's just a really nice place to decompose,
you know,
decompress.
decompress.
There's some people
I
I'd like to
love
see decompose.
I love places like that where you could go out, just kind of walk around in nature and see what what the area has to offer. And swimming in a creek, I know growing up, we'd go to 1 Mile Park and Chico,
Sure.
and we'd go in the creek there. But we just went and walked through it last week. We took the kids over to Caper Acres and then went for a walk through the park, went and got ice cream. And the creek there is disgusting. And they are facing some lawsuits from the community because people are contracting E. coli and other variants that are worse because of the The
I heard that, the
disgust and the
homeless
pig.
were getting sandwiches and they're throwing their lettuce into it. That's where the E. coli came from. That's a joke. They've had a big, E. coli outbreak. They call
On
it
lettuce.
they call it what? Nuclear diarrhea?
Yeah.
It came from, Mexico, and,
I was talking to one of my friends the other day about, this, you know, poop lettuce that makes you have an upset stomach and whatnot.
a little more than
And
upset.
yeah, remember in 2020 when COVID came out and it seems like every month there was a new, it was like we were living in Jumanji, right? Every month there was a new,
Variant.
this is something that you got to be scared of. And now we've got this. And now they promised us murder hornets. Do you
I
remember
do
that?
remember the murder hornets.
And we never really had murder hornets because I was kind of curious, like, what's next? We've got like spotted biting monkeys or Sharknado. Like, I was kind of
Well,
looking forward to it.
the murder hornets are typically down towards the equator, and they did feather across the border into Texas and Arizona. And I saw a special on it, how they found their nest. They would find one and they'd more or less capture him and tie a little piece of ribbon on him, and then follow him back to the nest. And boy, I'll tell you, they were big and they hurt. Speaking of hornets, in the last year, I've probably been bitten 12 or 15 times by hornets. They're having a good year this year. But I've got some stuff called Sting Ease, and you put it on there, and it's gone. It quits hurting. Thank God for that, because I'd probably resort to profanity, and Lord knows I don't want to do that.
I would say it's because you're so sweet that they want to come after you, but
That could be.
I think we all know otherwise.
Oh, come on. So the supervisors meetings
Yes.
are very, very nice now. The other side, I call it the far left, because the far right is the normal right. There's only a few far rights. And they haven't showed up. This last week, there wasn't one there. I thought maybe something was going on over at the courthouse and they were all interested in that. I don't know. But the meetings go quick, and there's only one person up there. I think it's Shasta County Watchdog. The fun never ends.
You
She
know,
did have something nice to say this last week, but I forget what it was. Go ahead.
I watched the whole thing. I don't remember the something nice to say. Um, but I will say I think that the reason, and this should show the community what's been going on in those board meetings. The reason they haven't showed up the last couple meetings is because they were there based on, at first, Patrick Jones derangement syndrome, now Kevin Cry derangement syndrome. And now that Aaron Resner has won that seat and Kevin's not going to be in there is no need for their theatrics and their manufactured chaos, which is what's been going on, that causes the interruptions and the disturbances and the division and all of that, which should tell the voters you need to wake the heck up and pay attention, because those bad actors have been going in there disrupting meetings for the last 2-3 years, longer maybe,
Longer.
and they are doing it because of who's in office, and they're trying to stop the progress and the fixing, like the real work that these people have gotten done. Patrick Jones got a lot done on that board. Kevin Cry has gotten a lot done on that board. Chris Kellstrom has gotten a lot done. And they're trying to distract from that.
That's right.
And
That's well, they're not distracting. They're running into the ground. They're lying about the accomplishments we've
right.
had. They actually call them failures. They're bragging about their accomplishments. We've got a college at a medical college at the two hospitals, and we've graduated 300 doctors. Well, where the hell are they, fellas? You watch; it's going to be the kaput to the medical college here in Shasta County,
Well,
in
and
my opinion.
I think that's why it's really, really important that people pay attention and they watch, because if we lose Chris,
That's right.
we're lost for the next 6 years. If we keep Chris, we're lost for the next 2 years while we watch Aaron and Matt Plummer give away all the surplus that we have, drive everything into big government operations, and drive the county into the ground over a 2-year period of time.
That's absolutely
And
right.
then in 2 years, we will have the opportunity to replace Plummer and Long, Corky if he chooses to rerun or find a replacement for him. But if he chooses to rerun, then that's on him. But if we replace Plummer and Long and we still have Chris, we can right whatever wrongs are done over the next 2 years. If we lose Chris to Mike Gallagher, and again, Mike Gallagher is the nicest individual as a person.
He's not as nice as me.
He is going to be a terrible supervisor because he is very pro big government.
That's right. That's right. We're going to lose ground and then we're going to make up ground. And it's just going to be like the presidencies. The Democrats come in and open the borders. Trump comes in, closes the borders. They open them up, they close them up. And, it seems like we can hit some middle ground, but it seems to me that the far left never wants to give up an inch. Whereas I believe the conservatives will meet in the middle.
Well, and we had this conversation yesterday when discussing the whole woke agenda, the ideology of the far left,
Who's
right?
we and where were you discussing it? No, really,
So
tell us about your shows.
so
What shows you have going and what are you referring to?
well, yesterday I was just personally having a conversation with a friend.
Oh, okay.
So
But
it
you
wasn't
do
on a
have
show.
some other shows.
There are other shows here at Mountaintop
What's
Media.
your favorites?
You know what? I think Sovereign Minds that also records once a week.
Yes.
I think they have great information. I learn something every single week.
I've always enjoyed Mark and Linda.
Yeah, I learned something every single week. Coming to Mountaintop is going to be a weekly show that I'll be hosting, similar to like Kevin Cry's radio show, where it starts with what's going on local and then has guests and just kind of is entertaining.
So you're starting your own show
so
besides
that-
Moms for
Yeah,
Liberty.
so that show is going to be starting next week, and that one will then have
What's the
what's
name
going.
of it gonna
It's
be?
just going to be Mountaintop Media's podcast.
Oh, I thought you might name it
No.
Love Nick or something like
No,
that.
so it's going to be the main homepage or podcast. But then what I'll do is I'll take clips of yours and Doug's show and Mark and Linda's show and
We're
John.
gonna have a hybrid.
Yep. And John's been doing a show with this guy Nathan who
Pick
is
me?
no Nathan, he is out of I knew the state till I wanted to say it.
Okay.
But he is Politibible on Instagram and social media, and he talks about politics and the Bible and drives everything back to what the word says. And so him and John have been kind of dissecting big government. So
I haven't seen John in so long.
I know he's a busy,
person.
hardworking guy.
Yes, yes.
So, but we were having a conversation, my boyfriend and I yesterday about the woke ideology and how it's coming in, infiltrating America. And this is what's going to be the downfall of America.
Well, it's
Right.
downfalling. We're in free fall. It's been here for 30 years.
Right. And so he was saying the basis of their ideology is like, oh, we're kind and we're tolerant and we think everything's happy, rainbows and whatever. Well, if you watch how they act and interact, you know that that's not the case because they are the side that resorts to violence and name calling and everything right away. But he was saying once they realize, oh, we've been duped and none of this is true and all of this is chaos, they're going to be like, oh, well, we didn't mean it. So now we got to move on.
Maybe I was mistaken. I'm sorry.
Right. And I think we've
you
gone.
know who can't say maybe I was mistaken? I'm sorry.
Anthony Fauci.
Oh man,
Have you been watching that?
just clips of it. We've got a clip. Stephen Gardner. In fact, he's here right now. Maybe we'll play it. Maybe we won't. If we don't play it, listen to it. Click on it when you go to the website. It'll be there. But and everybody knows this that's paying attention. He's got a pardon, so why does he have to take the fifth and not incriminate himself?
Well, because
know,
he has a
it's-
pardon that was written by Autopin, and I think that he's worried that at some point that could be overturned.
And he's got the best attorney money can buy there in Washington, D.C. The fixer, what was his name? I got it written down here, but it's not important anyway. David Shelton, something like that, head criminal. He represented Menendez, a senator who took gold bars from Egypt as a bribe. I think they found him in his freezer, along with a bunch of cash. Nothing to see here.
Well, and that's, it's been nothing to see here for a while. I think that it's kind of inspiring that right now we have the House and the Senate kind of going through and passing good bills.
Yes.
And they did actually pass through the Insider Trading Act, which stops that with Congress and the Senate.
That's the least of our worries. I mean, it's rotten to the core, but it's the least of our worries. We need to stop. There's a lot of things. Do you know how the Democrats? It was explained to me how Democrats get people to vote for them. They take $500 from a working person, you, and they give $100 each to people that don't work, and they just gained 5 votes.
Right.
That's how it's working. We need to stop that. I could see a limit on campaign. I mean, it's ridiculous. Billions of dollars for a campaign. Look at running for a campaign, running for supervisor in Shasta County. You're way over $100,000 now. And it
And
shouldn't be for a little rural county like us.
no, and you know what? I would argue that the financial part of campaigning has been what results in us having terrible politicians because it rules out what our founding fathers intended, which is the everyday man coming in and serving a term.
Yeah.
And so now you've got these people like Gavin Newsom who were bred for politics
Well, we've
or
got
Javier
career
Becerra.
politicians.
Right.
We
And that's what
never
I'm
meant
saying.
to have career
Gavin
politicians.
Newsom was bred for politics. He's never had to work a real job in his life. He's just been
And he
thrown
couldn't
into
find his
politics.
place. I understand he's been
And
bred by guys too.
and Javier Becerra, same thing. He's never actually been elected to any office. He's been appointed to all of these positions, and now he wants to be governor. So we're going to end up with the same exact style governor as we have right now if we get Javier
Oh,
Becerra.
we're going to have a more corrupt. Well, I don't know if you can say that, but Javier Barrera was mixed up in the Hillary Clinton email scandal.
Oh, he's been mixed up in a lot of
They
things.
subpoenaed his server, so he gave him a different server, and they never got the right one. He was all mixed up in that. But that's way past. And Hillary said she's sorry, didn't she? She didn't mean to smash all her blackberries and all that kind of stuff. A normal person can't afford to run for office, even in the city of Reading.
Exactly, they can't.
And you go in there with the best of intentions, and you find it's so corrupt. I was talking. Thomas Hildebrand rode up to Ashland with me, and he goes to all the meetings, and he's very well informed. He doesn't say much, but he's a pretty sharp cookie. And I noticed with Kevin when he first came into office, man, he was so gung ho on anything, any problem. And I can see where, it's war on him that he can't chase every problem. There's more problems than one person can fix. But he's done a fantastic job, in my opinion.
He has. And you know what? He is continuing to still have that mindset. Every meeting, somebody from the public will come up and say something, and he says, email me about that. Stay after the meeting and let's talk. How many times? I mean, it's more than you can count that he's done that.
Oh,
And the
yes.
thing is, he follows through.
Oh, yes.
And when he says, hey, I'm going to look into that issue for you, I'm going to get it to the right jurisdiction. Hey, I'm going to reach out to Heather Hadwick's office and hold them accountable to work for our citizens. I think that's great.
Oh, yes. And he also will call somebody out on the floor when they make some comments that aren't necessarily so. And I love to see him get in fights with Mary Rickard or something like that. Well, Attorney Ross spent a lot of time, and he brought tens of millions of dollars of opiate money to Shasta County. What a bunch of crap that was!
Right.
And he called her out, and he had the goods of people that did bring it to
the receipts to
Shasta
back it up.
County,
Yep.
and he had the backing of the CEO and the attorney.
Yeah. And the thing is with Kevin, facts matter.
Yes.
And with the left, emotions matter, not facts. And so when Mary twice got up there to do her whole, this board is squandering money and this board is doing this and doing that. And in my 8 years I'm sorry, in your 8 years on the board, what did you do to make the Intermountain area better? Because I remember when Shasta County Chamber came in and said we should be doing more tourism. We should be bringing things to that part of our county. She was like, "We have enough things. My calendar is full, and we don't need any more activities in the Intermountain area." I would assume that the closed businesses up there disagree. I would assume that the businesses that function off of tourism dollars up there disagree. And the fact that she was advocating against her own people,
You know, just a couple years ago, Bernie didn't have a restaurant except for the casino.
well, I mean, they've always
Every
had a couple
restaurant was
small
closed.
they have a couple small places, but they're closed Sundays, they're closed in the
Well,
evenings.
now
Yeah.
a couple of have opened up. A Mexican restaurant's opened up. The Black Bear Berry had a. It used to be a Denny's or a Jerry's. It had a fire, and they chose not to reopen. McDonald's is closed down. I think the Rex Club's open a night or two a week,
Mhm.
and that's about it. I remember the first time I went through Bernie. I was about 12 years old, and I mean that place was rocking. Cars were double parked. They had two liquor stores in little old Bernie.
I know. It's cold up there. You got to drink to stay warm.
That's right.
Yeah, no, it is Bernie and Fall River, MacArthur, they are such cute towns.
Oh, sure,
And the people there are just so fun and so wonderful. But it's really sad to go spend time in those communities now and see what they've become because so many of the businesses are closed. So many of the people commute back and forth from Bernie, Fall River to Reading to
sure,
work.
sure.
I mean, it's I
You know,
think
every
that
small community's like that. McLeod was like that until they got on the tourism uh,
and that's where it was a
bandwagon, and
missed
they've done a
opportunity.
good job
Yeah,
with it.
and
Yeah,
that's where it was a missed opportunity when she said, "We don't need that." There is no reason people from Redding, California should be driving down to Placerville to go to Apple Hill.
what the
That's
heck
what,
is
4 or
Apple
5
Hill?
hours. Oh, it's amazing. But why would you do that when you can drive 45 minutes to an hour up to Bernie and Fall River and get all of the same experiences? But that requires putting those tourism dollars back into that community.
Sure.
So, I mean, it but we do. The fact of the matter is we have 5 out of 10 people here driving down the 4 or 5 hours to Placerville to have that same experience that you can have 45 minutes away.
Well, yeah, but like I say, every little community has been impacted. Marijuana was holding them up, so the state they decided they needed to get in on the action. So now Hayfork's broke. I don't know, Weaverville, I probably they're well, they've got a sawmill or two over there, but their main attraction is 299 drives through Main Street and people stop to spend some money. But you know, Corky made the point that the wolves are going to be as detrimental to ranching as the spotted owl was to logging, and I kind of think he's right.
I do as well. And, on that, James Gallagher voted to delist the gray wolves, which would be a huge thing. That would be a federal mandate that delists the gray wolf. And if that happened and went through, that would clear up Idaho, Colorado, Oregon, Wyoming, all of those places that are having issues with the wolves as well as us.
Hold on now. Some of those people, some of those states, Wyoming, I think, what state is Yellowstone in? They hunt wolves.
Yeah.
They're not protected in some of those areas because there's a pack that just left Yellowstone and they're trying to pass a bill that you can't hunt that pack because they've been protected and now
Right.
they've left
And they
Yellowstone
do. They
looking.
have the like tracking collars on them and they have but if a federal order goes through to delist them, then it would legalize the hunting of those wolves everywhere.
Yes, well, yes and no.
And he's right because the gray wolves that are affecting our ranchers are not native to our area, just like the spotted owls. It was a man-made issue.
That's right. That's
And so I think
absolutely
Corky
right.
was
And they
very right.
ignored the evidence for the spotted owl. They found them in second growth out on the plains, and they just ignored that. There was a reason they wanted to break all the timber industries, burn up our forests rather than manage them.
Mhm.
But anyway, the government works strange. Now, here's one thing that I they had this last election, and they were talking about the opioid settlement money. They gave $889,000 to an educational program at Shasta College. What's the name of that program? Step
The
Up
Step Up
Program. Step
program.
Up Program. And I recall when they had the welfare to work program at the end of Clinton's second term, Newt Gingrich and the Republicans shoved it down his throat. He vetoed it twice, and they had to sign it the third time, and it was a success. But I went in to cash in a lottery ticket, and I looked around, and every cull that ever hung out in the bars was working for the state. Welfare to work was go back to work for the state, and I see the same thing with this program. They're going to make them counselors.
Well, not necessarily. Um, they yes,
Students also receive the opportunity to apply
there
for
is
their
a
instruction in
certification.
real world situations through internships managed by the College of Alcohol and Drug Studies.
Yes. So there is a certification and a program that focuses on drug and alcohol dependency
Yes,
and recovery.
yes.
So here's the thing. And here's where I don't think that this is necessarily a bad thing because,
I
you
wasn't
have
saying it's a
somebody.
bad thing. You're going to sober them up, but don't act like you're making them contributing members of
Well, no, but I
society when
think you
they're
are.
working for the government.
No, but I think you are. And here's why.
I don't.
So Mary comes in there and says, we've squandered all this money and none of it's going toward helping the people who are in their, drug state or their dependency state, whatever that is. And really what they've done is, like Kevin said, they've invested the funds into prevention. They've invested the funds into solving this issue in the future
Okay.
rather than
Yes.
throwing more money at failed programs. Because when
Yes.
we look across the state and we look across our county, more programs get money just thrown at it with zero outcome. Why would we continue to just dump money down the toilet
Well, that's
into
one thing.
programs that do nothing?
That's one thing Kevin has stressed. We
Right.
want some bang for our buck, and if we're not getting
So,
it, let's take those dollars someplace else.
so Matt Plummer brought up that San Francisco has a new program that is recovery first, and the program is focused on results and actually recovery, not,
I know
you know,
that program. Buy a bus ticket to Shasta County.
right. So, in theory, sure, maybe, but the model he's searching after, what he's going after, it's kind of like his net zero homeless thing okay, Matt, you're on the right track. However, government is never the answer to government issues, right? We've created this problem and now you're looking for government to fix the problem. Ronald Reagan said the scariest words in the human language is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help, right? So he's on the right track. What we have is not working. However, Bobby Kennedy gave a speech at CPAC and he talked about how these treatment facilities need to be held accountable where it is results driven. If you come out of a treatment facility and you relapse, you go back to that treatment facility with a guarantee. Hey, I failed. I get to go back and not be charged again to go back because whatever was done and set up, I failed on. And
Okay, so
so
you're talking about a private facility. He's going to
no,
make a private
no,
facility
because Bobby
because they didn't
Kennedy's,
pay to go to. In fact, most of your druggies and alcoholics aren't paying to go to the rehab.
right, but somebody is. You and I are paying for it.
That's right.
Taxpayer dollars
That's
are.
right.
So the thing is, he's saying if you're getting money to treat somebody and they're coming back 2 days later, they're coming back 10 days later, whatever it is, you should be held accountable for making sure that they leave your facility ready to take on the world and be changed, results driven, holding them accountable. And in that same vein, Bobby Kennedy is trying to push for an initiative that would fund doctors that get people off of certain medications rather than getting money and having the medical or the financial incentive for doctors be get more, put them on more medications, right? And make the pharmaceutical industry a continual wheel. he's looking to hold the pharmaceutical industry, he's looking to hold these nonprofits, he's looking to hold these medical treatment facilities accountable for having results and solving issues, which we've never had. And I would argue that's one of the things that caused his uncle to get shot.
You mean JFK?
Mhm.
Doesn't have anything to do with firing Alan Dulles. By the way, Trump's going to put $20 billion into Dulles Airport. I hope he changes the name. Alan Dulles was a stain on our history, and he was instrumental in the assassination of JFK, in my opinion. Read the book, The Devil's Chessboard, and you'll agree with me. And that's one of the main reasons. Kennedy had a lot of good ideas, far right ideas
Right.
now.
Right. And that's the thing is, this pendulum of right versus left has been swinging. So many solid right-leaning people now are lifelong Democrats. Because I mean, look at it. Tulsi Gabbard, General Mike Flynn.
You reversed it. So many left leaning
No, so many
politicians are now Republican.
no, so many great right-leaning politicians. Tulsi Gabbard, Mike Flynn.
Chelsea was a Democrat.
That's what I'm saying. They are now right-leaning. They would be considered extreme right, but they were lifelong Democrats up to this point.
Okay, I must have listening dyslexia because I thought you said the
Yeah,
opposite.
no.
So no, I agree with you. Some of the liberals have woke up and said, "Hey, this isn't working. Look what they're doing. It seems to be
Yeah.
working." Uh, Tulsi, she exposed a few things on her way out the door that was really good for the American people. Falsey, I can't believe they've got all that stuff in writing and he completely lied to us. And by the time everything's settled and done and they tie it up in courts and it comes out of courts, he's not going to be alive anymore. So he's never going to be held accountable. That's what's really a shame.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, he took the fifth more than 50 times. Like,
111 times.
was it?
Yes.
Because I was watching it throughout the day and then I had to go, help with the grape harvest. And then there was a local meeting that I had to go to. So I didn't get to finish watching it. But at the point that I was watching it, it was over 50 times. And it was like, you cannot answer to anything. And there was one senator that asked, are you just even willing to say, I'm sorry to the American people?
I cannot answer that.
Yeah.
On the advice of my attorney.
100%. That was the answer.
Yes.
But there was not even remorse in his face. There was nothing. This person
On
is
top
evil.
of that, he gathered a whole bunch of bonuses from different organizations. One of them was $900,000 that he used federal employees to solicit the bonuses for him.
Mhm.
The same thing that Stephanie Bridget's been accused of, using government employees to campaign. It's basically the same thing. He is a slime ball. I don't know how he got away with so much. It's science. It's settled science. It's settled because I
science.
said it is, and we're not going to look any further.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Yep.
So I don't
All right.
know.
Well, you want to get on to describe some of these clips and get to what your cousin Stephen Gardner says?
I don't know. We've kicked him out of the family.
Okay. I thought it was Christian you kicked out of the family.
Well, him too. Hey, yeah, let's go ahead and play this first clip. And this is just a warm up to what this whole clip's about. It's probably about 20 minutes. It's very interesting. If you've never heard of Stephen Gardner, he's got the insight on a lot of things.
I have two major stories to dive into with you. The first is the public hearing of Dr. Fauci. There were some seriously shocking moments, some commentary that people got off of their chests that I wanted to say to him. And I'll also share a absolutely shocking thing about Dr. Fauci that I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Second, President Trump says he's going to knock the effing S out of Iran after a sneak attack last night. Plus, China is caught lying to President Trump as they are trying to send 400 missiles to Iran to fight America. If you guys like understanding what's really going on in the world, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification button. Also, hit that like button, and let's jump right in. Dr. Anthony Fauci was forced to testify under oath about his pardon, his diary conflicting with private information about what he knew about COVID, and all of the bull crap that he pushed onto the American public. In total, he pled the fifth 111 times, despite having immunity, and his out of control criminal defense attorney had to be removed from the hearing. I just want to show you some of the highlights of this 5 hour meeting. Dr. Fauci was all about fame and putting money in his pocket. And then I'm going to share a big shocker with you. First, this is Senator Bernie Moreno, and he said what we've all felt.
Mr. Fauci, do you know who David Schertler is?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Well, let me tell you who David Schertler is for the audience because he was ejected by the chairman. He's a high-profile criminal attorney. He's represented some really great people, like Senator Bob Menendez. Maybe that's somebody who my Democrat colleagues may remember took gold bars as bribes from the Egyptians. And there's an article here in the Washington Free Beacon that talks about why you would hire a guy like David Schertler. And the comment is, if you're in deep shit, that's who you call. Do you feel like you're in deep shit?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Clearly, what you think today is that somehow you're above reproach. Somehow you feel like you don't need to be treated like a normal American.
All right, here's a quick question. If Dr. Fauci is so innocent and the dude legally is immune from going to jail because of a presidential pardon, why would you hire the biggest criminal defense law firm in the country?
So, does his pardon protect him from the states that choose to go after him individually?
Well, it's a federal pardon, just like Tina Peters, remember? President Trump couldn't pardon her on state charges, but he did pressure them, and they finally did pardon her or give her clemency. It's the same thing with that, I'm sure. If the feds can't do something, maybe one of the states will. Maybe Gavin Newsom will get mad at him because he got caught lying.
Right. And you know what? I liked what Senator Moreno, I think it was out of Ohio, was speaking. That's the same one that I watched speak. And he said, I'm going to hold all of my Democratic colleagues accountable
Sure, I saw
to the
that.
public.
That's on here.
Yeah, because they are supporting this guy. After all this evidence is coming out, they are supporting this guy.
Well, they're
And
still supporting Hillary. They're
they
still
should-
supporting Barack Obama.
They should 100% be held accountable to the voters. And that's exactly what I've been saying here locally at our city level, our county level,
yes.
our state level. We need to be holding the people who represent us accountable.
Well, some of the city supervisors, the city council people, they have been dishonest with us and made decisions that were detrimental. They knew they were detrimental,
Absolutely.
and they shouldn't have immunity. It should come out of their pocket.
And that's why I think we, as the citizens of Reading, need to hold them accountable in November. We need to have good people run for office, and we need to make sure people like Jack Munns, who the meeting ending by 8 p.m. was more important than hearing Tanessa's facts about the budget, right? He
he
needs to be
wouldn't
held
put that.
accountable. This meeting's going long enough. We've talked about this long enough.
No, you can't put your spreadsheet up on the screen. Up
Yeah.
there.
Well, you know what? He needs to be held accountable by the voters. He thinks he wants to rerun. We need to show him that he is not welcome to be a city councilman.
You know, on a scale of 10, I rate him as a city councilman, and it's about a 3.5 or a 4.
You know what? And the other thing that needs to happen is people need to start holding Mike Littell accountable. Because he's still going to be there. He's not up in November, but they need to start holding him accountable and let him know that he is not representing the people that voted for him. And I think if you voted for Mike Littell, you need to message Mike Littell, send him an email through the city, and you need to let him know that he's not representing you the way he said he was going to when he campaigned. and he needs to make a public apology
Oh, he's
to
not gonna.
Tanessa.
He is right. Mike Lataw's right. And
He
if you don't like
did
me, just
those
don't listen.
kindergarten level videos with Aaron Resner,
That's
which, by
right.
the way,
That's
if
right.
those videos were so correct and they stood by their decision, why have they been scrubbed from the internet and from all existence? If you stand by what you said to the people while you were trying to pass a
I was trying to
bogus
think of
tax
something
measure,
to bring up at the next city council meeting. I'll do that. I'll ask
you
them
should
to
do
put those back up so we can see them.
that
Having a funeral, I believe
this
it's
Friday.
tomorrow
Mhm.
at noon.
Yep, at the Catholic Church.
And then across the street afterwards, they're going to have a little celebration for his life.
And they're also going to be doing something at a future city council meeting to
Well,
really
he sure made an
enshrine
impact on his short time here to have all that happening.
5 months. And he is, yes. And that should speak multitudes to anybody
Well,
that
I'd like
what he was doing was good work
yes.
and it needed to happen. And whoever replaces him needs to continue that good work. And I talked to Michael Webb when I spoke during public comment at the last meeting, and I said, good luck as the interim, but I hope that you continue to do that work. Michael Webb, again, just like I was saying about Mike Gallagher, nice guy. He is a nice guy. I think he's good intentioned,
I've talked to him.
but
Yes.
he doesn't seem to have the backbone that it's going to take to go to his coworkers and say, you are not serving the citizens of Reading. Therefore, goodbye. And that's what needs to happen.
And that's why we need an outsider to come in and make that happen, because somebody that goes to the same country club as all the other management, eats at the same fancy restaurants as the other management, their kids play together, go to private schools together. You're not going to fire my dad. We need somebody from out of the area to come in and clean this mess up. Do you
Yeah.
suppose Mike Warren would come back on?
I don't know, but it needs to be somebody who is not afraid to roll some heads. And the thing is, we need to see a lot of departments get cleaned out.
Oh, sure. We need to get
And
rid of
we
a lot of
need
departments.
efficiency. And one of the very first things that I asked Charbo to look into is the TOT dollars, because we are getting between $6 and $9 million a year, or I think maybe it's even 6 and 12, depending on the year. That where is that going? If you cannot run a Parks and Recs department based on that much money, if you cannot run things like the sports center, the moto park, the civic center based on that amount of money. I mean, we heard in this last meeting that the amount of money per month that it takes to function the civic center is far less than we were quoted by Advanced Ready.
There you go. Sure.
And so if you cannot budget that money in those departments, whoever's running that department into the ground probably needs to be looked at. How can we better run this department, and how can we better utilize the resources that we have?
One thing I saw in the paper this morning is they're covering up this canal over here on the east side of the new courthouse. And it's a $1.2 million project, maybe more. JF Shays got it. Down where I live, there needs to be a bigger culvert in the Henderson drainage ditch that flooded about 11 houses. And it costs too much. I mean, this is infrastructure safety that affects people's lives.
Right.
And they're spending it to make downtown Reading look better.
Right.
And it just seems like the priorities are kind of mixed up a little bit at times.
Yep. Well, I think that the public has a lot of research to do on their own. They have a lot that they need to look into. And while you're doing that, look at the clips. We're going to put the rest of the Steve Gardner video in the clip. We also have another video that Nick has provided. Go and watch those. And
I try and put a video or two up after our show that you can click on, because they're very interesting. They're very informative. And I don't think the general public really sees them or has access to them or even knows who they are. This Stephen Gardner, he's on sometimes 2-3 times a day with cutting edge news.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you for listening, and we will see you on the next one.
Thanks for putting up with me, Leslie. See you in a week.